Hello everyone, welcome to a new video. As always, if you're new to the channel, this is the Wind Waker Unflooded, a 3D modeling project all about reimagining the land of Hyrule in the art style of the Wind Waker. As you know, all the islands of the Great Sea, if you've played Wind Waker, you know that they are the mountaintops of Hyrule. But we never get to explore Hyrule, just a small portion of it around the castle. And so this project is all about bringing that world to life. It's Hyrule as you've never seen it before. So that's the project. I always give the spiel every time. Like I say, you know, my intros are probably getting pretty similar now. But I just wanted to keep y'all updated just in case there's new viewers, because you know, like I keep saying, it's been so encouraging to have new viewers on the channel. I don't know how many subscribers there will be by the time this video goes out, but it's just it really does mean so much that so many people are interested in paying attention, and that's still just so cool to me. I'm still reveling in that. And so this video, and this video is possible because of your feedback. Because a couple videos ago, I made a video where I was placing pedestals in the world that were corresponding with Triforce shard locations, right? If you've played Wind Waker, you know about the Triforce quest, which is a quest that involves getting charts and then following those charts to find sunken treasure in the Great Sea. And the sites of that sunken treasure correspond to these pedestals. And so that's the whole point, right? Is that, like, you know, maybe there's these chests in the overworld, but in the game, Link uses his salvage arm in his boat from above to reach the treasure, which means that a lot of people were saying, Joe, I actually think that the treasures should be accessible from above. You know, you're hiding them away in alcoves or caves, and you know, and that's fine, but they still need to have some kind of vertical access. John Gaming Funtime pointed that out in one of his response videos as well, and I'm really thankful. Just I don't know if I've said it on the channel yet, but it was so cool to see both of those response videos to like, you know, when I saw that there was like a 30-minute video of someone talking about Wind Waker Unflooded, I was like, oh, this is awesome. And John Gaming Funtime, if you're watching, I just wanted voice. I don't know if I've said it like with my voice. I know I've commented, but really that was so cool to see. And so this video is you know, is proof that that I listen to y'all's feedback, right? Because right, like it is all about logical sense at that point, right? If you want the salvage arm to be able to reach the treasure, it needs to be accessible from above. Something I'm not doing in this video, because I was still figuring out what it should even look like, is I do think there should be more of a barrier in front of the pedestals. A lot of the comments were saying that as well after that first video, and I totally agree with that. But I would kind of like to use this video to ask y'all again, well, what should that look like? Should it just be deeper in a cave where there are combat challenges in front of it? Should there be some kind of door that needs a special key, right? You know, key in quotes, right? That could be a song, like the doors in like the Wind Temple and Earth Temple entrance caves, right? Doors that need a song to complete. Like what I guess I'm just curious about what y'all think. What kind of challenges there should be to actually access the pedestals? Because I do think that, I don't know, like I don't mind them being out in the open, and a lot of people have also commented, and I really like this idea that they could be kind of hidden in the backs of temples, or that they would be celebrated parts of their community. These places where, especially if you can't actually access the shard until you find the chart, it's the chart that's protected and not the shard. So it could even be that the pedestal is still out in the open, and it's just more integrated into the community, and that people can go there to worship, you know, or it could be part of a church or part of an outdoor shrine near a church, you know. And I think that's definitely something I'm really interested in as well. And maybe that just depends on the location. But I think that would be cool, especially on Outset Island, right? It's kind of tucked away, and I like the idea of like, well, what is, you know, like let's give that village a little sanctuary, right? Let's give it a little place for religion, because I think that's interesting about Outset Island, right? Is that even in the Wind Waker, it's a place that has carried traditions, and that means different things, right? And it's like they tell these stories even to the point of you know, Link's grandma has, you know, the shield bearing, you know, a lot of similarity to the crest of Hyrule in her house, right? they share the story of the legend. Link, dresses up as the hero of time. That's something that has become important for their culture on that island. Even Orca, even if he's, what's the quote, that he's like the only one on the island that still knows the ways of the sword. It's clear that like in their culture, they still have, a respect for this age that has gone by. And I think that it would be interesting to kind of show that, right? Like it is a humble fishing village, but it is a place that could have its own kind of unique temple. And, it also has the Savage Labyrinth, of course, is also a part of Outset Island. And, of course, there's like the entrance to it on the top of the hill. But yeah, maybe there could also be something where, because that Savage Labyrinth goes so deep into the earth, maybe there's also a lower entrance that can also be kind of ornate. Maybe that even connects to the Triforce shard pedestal in some way, right? That could be interesting. Have the place where you get the chart for it have some kind of connection to the shard as well. I don't know. I'm just thinking aloud. I'm thinking through. Comment down below what makes the most sense for y'all. I'm not actually watching the time lapse right now, so I don't know if this is a good stopping point. But I do think that it is time for a short message.
As always, if you want to be able to support the project, becoming a member on Patreon gives you exclusive behind-the-scenes access, early access to all kinds of bonus features, early access to music that I compose, scripts that I write, storyboards, previs, rough cuts of all my filmmaking projects. So become a member down there, and you get all kinds of early access to all kinds of stuff. You can also support me by listening to my music on Spotify or Apple Music, wherever you listen to music. Look up Joe Kendrick, JoeKendrick.
And we're back. Just had to, always have to remind y'all how to support the project. I may do it at the end of the video as well. Let me know. We're experimenting with a new kind of format there, a new kind of edit. So let me know how y'all feel about that. But yeah, welcome back. Welcome back. So we are still working on the Triforce pedestals within the world of the Wind Waker. So like I said, it's like this video was made possible because of your comments, because of feedback that you gave, that you wanted to see things done differently. And that is something that I really value. And speaking of that, I don't think I've asked this on a video before, but I just wanted to ask it again and kind of just gauge y'all's vision for Zora's Domain. I put, as of recording this, I did a pretty recent community page poll about like how y'all might want to see Zora's Domain, and what kind of design you want me to draw from for it to bring it to life within the world of the Wind Waker. And it does seem like lore-wise, it makes the most sense to respect that kind of cave design from Ocarina of Time, right? That was also reinterpreted for Twilight Princess, and kind of use those designs as a foundation, first and foremost. But I do love the architecture of Breath of the Wild, and I think combining all of that could be really interesting. Because, right, it is like, as I say in so many videos, it's like I really do respect the lore. I do feel like the project has a lot of freedom, and I could, choose whatever design inspires me most. But I do want to respect the lore, and I think if there's a consensus there that using the Breath of the Wild design is just like too inappropriate, then then I want to hear that from y'all, as that applies to so many different things. But also like like I've said before, it's like Breath of the Wild to me, like that takes place in Hyrule. It's in Hyrule as much as any other Zelda game that takes place in Hyrule. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all equally Hyrule to me, even if they are at different points of the timeline. And so it's like, yeah, like I want to respect the timeline, but I also want to feel aware that like, well, Hyrule is big and there's a lot of locations that are available, and I want to be able to draw from anything. And I've said that all before. But I just want to like kind of gauge in the comments about, y'all's vision for Zora's Domain in the world of the Wind Waker. Because I think it's interesting because it's close to Death Mountain too, right? And what does that mean? Which I think is, maybe a reason to embrace a more kind of naturalistic side of Zora architecture. It doesn't have to be too showy, in the same way that it's tucked away into these mountains near Death Mountain. It could be cool to have, have it be more embracing that naturalistic side of things, as the Zora, I feel like, and the Gorons are so that is an important part of them as a race, right? And I guess I want to be careful how I say that. But I think y'all know what I'm saying, and that if you've played Zelda, that part of the subtext, right, is that like, there's the Hyruleans who build the castle, and it's almost an affront to nature in a way. Hyrule as a royal family, the royal family's kingdom is usually destined to be destroyed, to give way to nature. We see that in the Wind Waker. We see that in so many games where the castle is destroyed or taken over. Hyrule as a kingdom is destined to fall. But these other races that are kind of outside of the royal family, that are more at one with nature, they are able to preserve in a different way. And I think Wind Waker is interesting because the Zora, of course, transform into the Rito, which is also a very element-focused group of people, right? That like they worship, or that they have reverence for the skies, as the Zora have reverence for the water. And the Gorons, of course, are at one with the mountain. And all of these just lead to a deeper relationship with the natural world around them. And I want to be careful the language that I use there, right? Because I do worry about like some of the rhetoric surrounding like the natural tribe, right? The tribe that is at one with nature is used to kind of distinguish like, white people from natives, right? Like historically. And so I want to be careful that like I don't want to bring back that kind of language. But I do think part of the Zelda series is that conversation of like, trying not to stepping away from the artificial and embracing the sublime, the natural world. And I do think that is part of the subtext of the Zelda series and its take on fantasy, which I think in Ocarina of Time, right, is why Link comes from the forest. And even in Twilight Princess, even though he's not like, the son or raised by this tree like he is in Ocarina of Time, which is also very much a connection to nature. In Twilight Princess, he's still a ranch hand, and that gives him a deep connection to, respecting the land, very, very literally as well. Being a farmer is a very naturally, comes with respect to the natural world, as a ranch hand. So I don't know, just all things to think about. I suppose all this to say, I'm a thinker. I know y'all are thinkers. Comment down below any thinking that y'all have done. Oh man. I do think I'm going to start to wrap up the video again. I don't know. I don't want to repeat myself. And as I'm editing, I'll see if this is too much. But I just want to remind y'all of how you can support me as a creator. Becoming a member on Patreon gives you exclusive behind-the-scenes access to all kinds of bonus features, scripts that I'm working on, storyboards, previs, rough cuts of films that I'm making. I'm a filmmaker. Subscribe to my main channel if you want to see more of that kind of stuff. And behind-the-scenes early access to music that I compose. I'm a composer. And any music that you've heard in the background of this video was music that I've composed. So, look up Joe Kendrick on Spotify or Apple Music or wherever you listen to music. Look up Joe Kendrick on Spotify. So yeah, I mean that's all. I'm gonna rewatch the video later and see if two support spiels sound like too much, but it doesn't take too long to say. So I feel like it is worth saying, and I just always want to remind y'all how you can support me as a creator if you care about this project. So all this to say, I think we're going to wrap up the video here. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your subscriptions, hopefully. All this to say, I think we have a little bit more time left in the time lapse, but I'll let you go.